As someone who doesn't speak German, I might not be the best to do this. Regardless, I am. I think it helps to start out with consonants. German has 22 consonant phonemes. Here's how they're pronounced, as well as how they're often written. M, N, Ng, P, T, K, B, D, G, F, C, Ch, F, S, Sh, H, R, H, V, Z, Y, L. This is generally how you pronounce all of these, but there are certain rules of German orthography that have some letters represent multiple things. First are the nasals, M, N, and Ng, spelled M, N, and Ng, like they often are in English. One important thing to note is that it is pronounced ng always, rather than ng, like it might be in English. The English word, English, is pronounced with the g, but the German word English is pronounced with just the ng. If an N is followed by a K, however, it is pronounced nk. Another important thing to know about is words that end in en, pronounced n, is often actually pronounced as or ng, depending on the consonant before. Augen is pronounced Augen rather than Augen. The k sound has a few different ways of being spelled, most commonly with k, but also c in some loanwords. The double consonant form of it is written ck, in contrast to many other double consonant forms. You would expect a double k. Next is the affricates, pf, ts, and ch. Pf is fairly simple. It's always written as pf. Ts is usually written as z, but also sometimes tz. Finally, ch, which is almost always written tsch. Ch only appears in loanwords and historic combinations of t and sh, such as with the word Deutsch. With some names it may be written as tzsh or zsh. Now on to the f, v, and w sounds. F is always pronounced f, and w is always pronounced v. The issue comes with v, which is pronounced either as f or v, depending on the circumstances. First, the pronunciation of the letter itself is V in German, with that f sound. Other places it's pronounced f is in the prefix f, at the beginning of German and Dutch place names, in certain other names, and certain words, some common ones being Vater, Vieh, viel, vier, Vogel, Volk, voll, von, vor, as well as many others. Intervocalically, or when between two voiced sounds, it is usually pronounced v, as well as in some loanwords. Still, there are dialectal differences on how the v may be pronounced in certain words. Next is s, z, and sh. S is written as s when before consonants or after obstruents. It is also written as a double s and sz. Z is also written as s, but when before a vowel and not after obstruents. Sh is written as sch normally, but also just as s when before a p or a t. Then is the h sound. Usually it is written as ch. At the end of a word ending in ig, however, the g is pronounced with the h sound. The letter h usually represents h, but is also silent when used to lengthen a vowel. The letter j represents y, unlike English, but like other Germanic languages. Certain other letters or letter combinations are used less commonly, usually in loanwords, such as dsch to represent j, but often just pronounced as ch, ph to represent f, qu to represent kv, rh pronounced the same as r, th pronounced the same as t, x pronounced as x, and ti pronounced as ts in words of Latin origin. Next are the vowels and diphthongs. There are 16 or 17 vowels and 3 or 4 diphthongs. The vowels are I, U, U, I, U, U, E, O, E, A. First are the short vowels, written simply with a single letter. Then the long vowels, which have many different ways of being written, as the final letter of a word in a stressed open syllable, followed by a single consonant, doubled, or followed by an H. These are the ways they are written. Some dialects differentiate between the long umlaut A and the long E, but many do not. This is why German has either 16 or 17 vowels. The difference is often considered spelling pronunciation rather than original feature of German. The vowel or the schwa is found in unstressed syllables and written as e. Similarly, the vowel is written as er. Finally, the diphthongs I, ow, oi, and ue. The first three are all very common, however ue is not, and is only a marginal diphthong, found in a few interjections. Anyways, that's everything about German orthography. If there's anything I missed, feel free to let me know. Also, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching.